Your post just shocked Elon Musk, now he wants answers. It all started on an ordinary, hushed evening. A faint buzz in the air, the planet half dozing. That kind of stillness where thoughts take root. You weren't seeking spotlight or approval, unsure if a soul would even glance at your words. Just you, the screen's soft glow, and that nagging pull in your chest, a sense that something had to be voiced. The sentences trickled out at first, genuine and unfiltered. No gimmicks, no flair. You were merely piecing together the madness of the world, the clamor, the hidden despair of folks doubting their own worth. You penned thoughts on vision, grit, the daunting allure of leaping in before you're set. Hitting publish brought no thunderclap, no instant blaze, just a gentle release, like venting a long-held secret. Then, the universe stirred. It kicked off modestly, a handful of reactions, a few shares, inquisitive gazes spotting a thread of profundity. But hours later, it ballooned. It surged like a beacon cutting through interference, vaulting over feeds, tongues, and borders. Your private musings morphed into waves, reshaping minds, sparking embers in strangers' souls. And on a serene night much like yours, a guy famed for hurling rockets and reimagining limits halted his scroll. Elon Musk, straddling science and spirit, dreaming of Mars while crafting earthly marvels, lingered on your post. He reread it once, then slower. Unlike the clamor, it wasn't flashy. It murmured, provoked, carried that elusive tone of authenticity. He cocked his head, furrowed his brow, then reclined. His team slumbered. Factory lights faded. Only the drone of servers and the whisper of an idea remained. Who penned this? He mused. How did they pierce the din? Unbeknownst to you, your humble scribbles struck a chord. They echoed a notion he'd tucked away under equations, timetables, and colossal schemes. Your words revived a belief that breakthroughs aren't merely gadgets or red planets, but awakening dormant human promise. He reread it. This time, he copied the link, forwarded it to one contact, then another. No note, just the URL, heavy with implication. By dawn, it had crossed a line. Media buzzed, intellectuals, visionaries, doubters dissected what halted him. And you? You awoke to a feed in chaos. Alerts avalanche, mentions uncountable. At first, a bug. But then the headline hit. Elon Musk engages mysterious viral post, fans demand the author's identity. Your brew cooled as you gaped. No tag, no shout-out to him. It wasn't his tale. Yet it infiltrated his realm, and now he craved clarity. Scouring comments, intrigue, hype, wild guesses. Some pegged you as his insider. Others as a covert op, a net experiment. But you knew, just a soul with an idea, a heartbeat, daring to unleash it. By midday, the post evolved, a living entity. No longer yours alone. It mirrored countless. Folks amplified it, infusing personal truths. A fluid, charged crusade, uncontainable. In LA, Elon eyed metrics, charts. But beneath the data, a near mystical pattern. It wasn't mere shares, it was felt. It tapped a worldwide vein, flipping switches. He muttered, almost grinning, "Whoever this is, they get it." His aide entered with a tablet. "Sir, contact the writer." He paused, glanced at her, then the screen. "Not yet. Let's see their next move." Unaware, your upcoming words, your next insight, would echo farther than dreamed. And in the quiet between pulses, a bond forged, one needing no words, just acknowledgement. For when truth calls, even titans hush. Days later, you paused before typing. The cursor throbbed like a lifeline. The outer world had flipped overnight, but inside, you remained the truth seeker who started it. Yet now, masses tuned in. Scrolling mentions, DMs, your handle echoed on unfamiliar platforms. Pieces probing your identity, threads parsing your phrases as scripture. Unreal. No longer personal. Amid the racket, a query swelled, "What's next?" You shut the apps. Breathed. Drawn by an unseen force, you reopened a blank doc. No tags, no buzz, just prose. When ears perk up, the real ask isn't, "What now?" but, "Which truth merits reprise?" You posted, not for the masses, but for you. Response arrived swiftly, not from the throng, but a DM from the unexpected. The sender, Elon Musk, verified. One message. You froze. Heart raced. Tapped open. Truth resonates. Keep writing. E. 4 words, an initial. They ignited like flint on tinder. Hours blurred in disbelief. Authentic? Why you? Beneath it, a shift, not dread or ego, but a subtle seamness, a clear note in the noise. That eve, sleep eluded. You pondered how raw lines breached algorithms, racket, skepticism. Reaching even the untouchable. Him. Not the mogul, but the dreamer behind the stats, the rocket builder defying pull, yet tethered by prose. You wrote anew, perhaps connection is the true gravity. It anchors us from drifting, even star chasing. No tag needed. Minutes on, refresh, his like, his repost. The web erupted. Press dubbed it the signal exchange. Thinkers, digital synchronicity. Fans, the dawn. To you, a hushed dialogue between aligned vibes in the clamor. Invites poured, podcasts, forums, deals. All chasing your story, creed, next say. But you stayed mum, grasping, speak to be heard, lose truth's core. Yet deep down, this was prologue. The link deepened. The globe wasn't spectating, it morphed. In a Texas hangar, amid machine whirs and midnight glow, Elon rode his own wave, inspired by you. Weeks flowed. The world pulsed anew, synced to a fresh beat. Feeds, threads, chats echoed your words in varied forms. Watching your private notion go public was odd, thrilling, scary. But the real unease? The lulls. Something brewed. Then, one morn, it arrived. Not a repost, quote, or like, a video from Elon himself. Hesitant, you played. Camera sweeps a vast hangar, scaffolds, prototypes, genius's quiet thrum. Elon at center, no stage, just lens-bound. Tone steady, reflective. I read something lately, he started. A simple note on connection, how gravity's not just physics, but human. Pause, eyes keen. It recalled my build origins. Not for tech, not Mars, but that instant someone gazes up, recalls their place in the vast. He motioned rearward. Lens unveiled a sleek prototype, unprecedented. Project Signal. Not mere tech, planetary linkage. Calm beyond wires, politics, miles. He stared into the camera, at you. This didn't birth here. It stemmed from a voice, reminding truth spreads not loud, but resonant. No name drop. Unnecessary. The world knew. Minutes in, the vid shattered feeds. Hashtag Project Signal global trend. Experts, revolutionary. Analysts, calm game changer. But one riddle seared all, real collab or fluke. You held back. Watched, awed, grateful, scared. Your words now constructed. That night, outdoors, sky vast. His satellites winked above. Wondering if he viewed the same, pondered alike, connection as humanity's edge. Phone buzzed. No sender. Just chords, time. One line, if ready for next, come. Breath seized. World wobbled. Threshold here, words seed to reality. Ideas manifest. Stared for eons. Typed, deleted replies. Unknown query, asker. But that inner pulse, the first post spark, whispered alignment, not luck. Packed sparse. No fanfare. Departed. Coords, Texas. Vast dust flats. Initial error. Nothing but land, sky. Sunset neared, a distant hum. Then, unmarked gate, beyond it, a desert rising form, lab meet sanctuary. Paused once, approached. Drone scanned silently. Gate hissed open. Inside, cool, sterile, electric hum. Hollow screens, models, waves, energies. Engineers ghosted, focused. Far door slid. Elon Musk emerged. Not icon, but man. Eyes piercing, shadowed by weariness from too much seen. Faint smile. You came. Nodded, words elusive. Unsure if I should. He tilted. Every tale's start. Followed through glass halls. Views, unreal tech, neural links, glowing grids, self-assembling drones. This, he said low, is Signal's core. Stopped at a blue-lit chamber. Filaments hovered, shifting, pulsing. Your post, he went on, recalled build purpose. Not escape Earth, but unite it. This links minds directly. Not info, but comprehension. Empathy as bandwidth. Stared, breath shallow. Mind linking? Shrug, masking vigils. Carefully. Why me, you pressed. Just words. He studied you, seeking the writing's essence. You sensed it pre-build. Wrote the map unknowingly. Signals not tech. Resonance. Needs a rememberer of its meaning. No reply. Chamber's glow danced, scientist prophet. I want your help shaping the first broadcast. Me? No engineer. Smile. Einstein wasn't initially. Just a questioner. Handed a sleek device, faintly energized. Activate sends a pulse, emotion, intent. First shared signal. Hands shook. Send what? Whatever truth sparked your post. Air charged, not volts, fate. Device in hand, back at him. If it works. Smile, no answer. World changes anew. That eve, desert view room, device held. Reflected the path, words, quiet, minds merging. Stars cold above. Tiny void signals. Whispered origins, truth needs no volume. Just the right frequency. Pressed. Light surged, not out, in. Pulse of ancient recall, universe's gaze. In another space, Elon-eyed monitors. Graphs spiked, nodes flared. Planet one signal, quiet, united, vibrant. Light ebbed. Desert silent. Stars, wind hum. Screens flickered. Data streams auroral. Faces, scientists, strangers. Pausing in stunned hush. Recognition. Signal swept like climate. Unmet souls felt instant clarity, not separate. Wrath eased. Debates dulled. Hours of pure grasp. No tongues, no shields. Hospitals, patients, doctors understood. Cities, strides halted, gazes up, devices dropped. Tears, laughs. Most stood, heeding sacred silence. Hangar, alarms wailed, servers crashed under feedback flood. Elon to controls, wide-eyed. Beyond models, engineer yelled. He watched global swirl. Alive, not lethal. Beside him, stop it? Hesitated. Should we? Monitors. Faces in quiet knowing. Perhaps not. First true smile. This proves connections not tech. Never was. You said softly. It's memory. Signal waned like sunrise, not blast. Lights dimmed, graphs steadied. World sighed. Indescribable. Scientists, mass neural echo. Philosophers, collective glimpse. Experiencers, the moment. Weeks, shifts subtle. Online spats muted. Coup over rivalry in biz, art. Not utopia, humanity endured. But empathy baseline added. No gov, corp owned. Signal recalled invention starts with feel. You departed desert post-event. No flash, just into altered world. Device with Elon, glass-sealed, faint pulse, first understanding relic. Still right, not fame or lore, just lucidity. Post sometimes, familiar check appears, single letter. Still listening. E. Smile, screen off, skywatch. Satellites neuron hum, signal sustaining, linking, reminding. Ultimately, not fame, tech, discovery. Remembering shared truth feel. And in that instant, world grasped your start, when truth speaks, loud minds hush. Silence never sounded so vibrant. At first, the world moved only in small tremors. A few reactions, a few reposts, curious eyes catching the thread of something deeper. Hours passed, then it grew. It spread like a signal through the static, leaping across timelines, languages, continents. Your words, once private, began to ripple outward, reshaping thoughts, igniting small fires in hearts you'd never met. And somewhere on a night not so different from yours, a man known for launching rockets and redefining possibility stopped scrolling. Elon Musk. A man who lived at the intersection of science and soul, who dreamed of Mars while building machines on Earth. He read your post once, then again, slower this time. They weren't loud. They didn't shout for attention. They whispered, they challenged, they carried a rare vibration, the kind that sounds like truth. He tilted his head, frowned slightly, then leaned back. His assistants were asleep. The factory lights dimmed. Only the low hum of servers and the faint pulse of an idea filled the room. Who wrote this? He wondered. How did they see through the noise? Because what you had written, unknowingly and humbly, struck something in him. It mirrored a thought he'd buried beneath numbers, deadlines, and billion-dollar blueprints. Your words reminded him of something he'd once believed. That innovation wasn't merely about machines or Mars, but about awakening the sleeping potential in humanity itself. He read your post again. This time he copied it, sent it to someone, then another. He didn't even add a message at first, just the link, silent but loaded. By morning, the post had crossed a threshold. Journalists noticed thinkers, dreamers, skeptics, all trying to decode what had made him pause. And you woke to a feed that made no sense. Mentions exploded, notifications multiplied beyond counting. At first you thought it was a glitch. But then you saw the headline that would change everything: Elon Musk engages with mysterious viral post. Fans asked who was behind it. Your coffee went cold as you stared at the screen. You hadn't tagged him, hadn't used his name. It wasn't about him. Yet somehow it had found its way into his world, and now he wanted answers. You read the comments, curiosity, excitement, theories. Some assumed you worked for him. Others claimed you were part of a secret project, a digital experiment. But you knew the truth. You were just a person with a thought, a pulse, and the courage to release it into the wild. And now that wild roared back. By noon, the post had become something more than a message. It was a living organism. It wasn't just about you anymore. It belonged to everyone who saw themselves in it. People began adding to it, expanding the message, weaving their own truths through your words. It became a movement, fluid, electric, impossible to contain. Somewhere in Los Angeles, Musk watched the numbers on his screen, engagement metrics, data graphs, but beyond the numbers there was a pattern, a rhythm, almost spiritual. The post wasn't just being shared, it was being felt. It had reached into a global current and flipped a switch. He whispered to himself, almost smiling, "Whoever this is, they understand." And his assistant walked in with a tablet. "Sir," she said softly, "should we reach out to the author?" He paused, looked at her, then back at the screen. "Not yet," he said. "Let's see what they do next." You didn't yet know it, but the next words you wrote, the next thought you released into the world, would ripple farther than you'd ever imagined. And somewhere in the quiet between his heartbeat and yours, a strange connection formed. The kind that doesn't need explanation, only recognition. When truth speaks, even the loudest minds fall silent. For the first time in days, you hesitated before writing. The cursor blinked, steady, alive. The world outside your screen had changed overnight, but inside you were still the same person who had written from a place of quiet truth. And yet now millions were listening. You scrolled through your mentions, your DMs, your name whispered across platforms you'd never used. Articles speculating who you were, threads dissecting every phrase like sacred text. It didn't feel real. It didn't feel yours anymore. And yet beneath the noise there was a question growing louder: what now? You closed the apps, breathed, and then, as if pulled by an invisible thread, opened a blank page again, no hashtags, no headlines, just words. When the world begins to listen, the question isn't what do I say next, but what truth is worth repeating. You hit post, not for the world this time, but for yourself. Not long after, a direct message you didn't expect appeared. The name at the top froze you. Elon Musk, heavy check mark. One new message. You stared. You clicked. Truth resonates. Keep writing. 4 words, and an initial, landing like a spark on dry earth. For hours afterward you couldn't focus. Real or not, you felt seen, a recognition like being noticed as a signal amid the static. And yes, a subtle shift settled in you, not fear, not pride, something quieter, more intimate. The thought that perhaps your words had already influenced something they'd been trying to build long before you posted. That night you couldn't sleep. You thought about how a few honest sentences could pierce through algorithms, through disbelief, reach even the unreachable. You thought about him, not the billionaire as spectacle, but the human behind the data, the man who built rockets to escape gravity, yet remained drawn back by words. You wrote again, maybe connection is the only form of gravity that matters. It keeps us from drifting too far from each other, even when we're chasing stars. You didn't tag him. You didn't need to. Minutes later, your screen refreshed, and there it was, a like and a repost from him. The internet exploded. The signal exchange. Philosophers called it digital synchronicity. Fans called it the beginning of something. But to you it was something else entirely, a quiet conversation between two frequencies that had finally found each other in the noise. Invitations flooded in, podcasts, panels, publishers. Everyone wanted to know who you were, what you believed, what you'd say next. But you stayed silent, because you understood something they didn't. The moment you pursue listening to be heard, you stop listening to truth. Still, you knew this was only the beginning. The connection wasn't over, it was deepening. The world wasn't just watching anymore. It was shifting. And somewhere in a hangar in Texas, beneath the hum of machines and midnight light, Elon Musk was writing something of his own, a spark born from your words, a guiding impulse toward the possible. Days passed, and the world moved, but differently now, tuned to a new rhythm. Every feed, every thread, every conversation carried traces of your words, reinterpreted in languages and contexts you'd never imagined. It was strange, exhilarating, terrifying, all at once to watch your private thought become public property. Yet the thing that unsettled you most wasn't the noise. It was the silence between it all. Something was coming. And then it did. The notification arrived not as a repost, not as a quote, but as a video from Elon Musk himself. You almost didn't press play, but curiosity, old, dangerous friend, won out. The camera panned slowly across a massive hangar, metal scaffolds, gleaming prototypes, the quiet electricity of genius in motion. Elon stood at the center, not on a stage, not before an audience, just speaking to the camera. His tone was calm, thoughtful. I read something recently. He began a simple message about connection, about how gravity isn't just physics, it's human. He paused, eyes narrowing slightly, and reminded himself why he started building things in the first place. Not for machines, not even for Mars, but for the moment when someone looks up and remembers they're part of something larger. He gestured behind him. The camera revealed a new prototype, sleek, elegant, unlike anything you'd seen before. We call it Project Signal. It's not just technology. It's a way to connect people on a planetary scale. Communication that transcends infrastructure, politics, distance. He looked straight into the lens, as if you could feel him looking at you. Or at least that's how it felt. This idea didn't start here, he said softly. It started with a voice, someone who reminded us that truth spreads not because it's loud, but because it resonates. He didn't name you. He didn't have to. The world knew. Within minutes, the video shattered the internet. Hashtag Project Signal trended globally. Thinkers called it revolutionary. Analysts speculated it could change global communication forever. But amid the theories, one question burned.